Starting soon.
Oh my god, I just realized I was on mute. Anyways, I said GM, and how are you guys doing today?
Good morning, sir. Not too bad. I
Yeah,
am
good morning.
really
Thanks for
excited to
having
be
us.
here.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on. And today we have Hero Galaxy, another awesome project. And let's start off by giving us a quick intro of who you guys are
Sure.
and
So
what you
I'll,
do
I'll
for
start.
Hero Galaxy.
I'll start. My name is Nicholas. I founded Hero Galaxy secretly back in December of last year, but publicly in January. I'm the CEO, running the business behind the scenes,
Okay.
making all strategic decisions therein. And then I'll let Alexander introduce himself.
Yeah, my name's Alexander. You might know me as Kismet there in chat. I am the CMO here. Been working with Hero Galaxy for about 4 months now. And I do a lot of the business development side of things with Nick here and some of the other folks on our team. So we're kind of responsible for everything that the public sees. And we're really excited to be on here. Thank you guys for having us. And we're looking forward to kind of growing the Hero Galaxy here. I know, obligatory plug, we do have our anti-heroes coming up this weekend, so we're really excited here over at Hero Galaxy to be talking with you at SandStorm right now and get some new eyes on that, and just kind of sharing some more info about what we're doing over here, and obviously checking out what you guys have going on. This is pretty sweet.
Yeah, we'll definitely be talking about the anti-heroes and your upcoming mint later. And what did you mean by founded the project secretly? Just working on it by yourself?
Yeah. So initially, this got started as kind of, I don't want to say grassroots, right? But whatever you would call me and a few buddies who were already in Discord with no lives all day long. Anyway, starting to work on an NFT project instead of staring at crypto charts, right? Before this, I was working a full-time job at Amazon Web Services, managing about a $500 million business unit for a few high-profile customers, and secretly spending all my time staring at crypto charts, trading NFTs, and so it was kind of a natural fit that all of us, a few buddies and I in Discord would end up founding a project, given that was all we were talking about last year, and that we'd been in the space quite a while, and so we started working on it behind the scenes in December, started laying some of the groundwork for what we were building, and then went public with it in January, late January, around the 25th, with simply a link to a Google Doc of a white paper posted on my personal OpenSea, and got rolling from there.
Awesome. And what attracted you to the NFT space?
So I've always been kind of a more or less a crypto native type of person, right? Like I bought Bitcoin in 2012 for nefarious reasons that pertain to, securing some LSD on the Silk Road, if we're being honest, dumb teenager thing to do, trying to, order acid with magic internet money. And I held it thinking, very cool. And then I kind of went through that, Bitcoin hero's journey of, from magic internet money to, oh my God, fiat is bullshit and this is all doomed to collapse. And so by the time 2017 rolled around, I was, well prepared to be swapping a lot of Bitcoin into ETH and buying some of the first NFTs that came out. I think Alexander even was a little earlier on that than I was, but my first was a CryptoKitty back in 2017. And so we were well positioned for the start of the NFT bull run. Worse position, I think, than I would have liked in retrospect. But by the time late 2021 rolled around, we were already very deep in the space and deep enough to see some things wrong with it, some things as it pertains to play to earn gaming that we didn't like, and want to make some changes.
Yeah, wow, you guys are early.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been around a while too, and it's one thing that I think is important to mention is, there's been so many different use cases for these NFTs thus far, but there's still many, many, many more to be unlocked. And as lifelong gamers, I know a lot of folks are able to say that at this stage, especially folks, kind of in their 20s, early 30s, maybe a little longer, who have been playing games for quite some time. It's a bit of a revelation at this point to kind of get to merge the technologies of tokenization and those processes, as well as kind of address some issues that exist in gaming. So it's pretty cool to kind of bring those interests together and be able to address issues that happen kind of ever present for quite some time.
Yeah, there are new things popping up in the NFT gaming space and the NFT space as a whole every month. So, and even in the larger crypto space, like last year we got DeFi. Last 4 years we got DeFi and NFTs, which makes me think in the next 4 years is something new gonna pop up. We never know.
Yep. Lots of growth.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, for our purposes, it's kind of like our ethos since the beginning has been, I think probably the world moved a little fast, swapping from Web 2 to Web 3, and left a lot of people behind as it pertains to, the use cases for the tech in the context of, more Web 2 activities like traditional gaming. And so our ethos has been, hey, how do we abstract away a lot of the crypto friction that folks have to deal with getting into the space and leave behind only, the benefits that Web3 offers in the context of a regular gamer's journey. And so what we've been building for the last 5 months now are, every opportunity we can to create mechanics that remove a regular gamer's need to deal with crypto while bringing more traditional gaming elements to the gamers via NFTs. Like one of the things I think that we released most recently that I'm especially proud of is equipping, right? So what equipping lets you do is you have your NFT avatar on mainnet, right? Equipping lets you burn a Polygon wearable NFT in order to update the metadata of the mainnet hero NFT with the Polygon NFT worn onto it with only Polygon gas fees, right? It's the classic, something that's table stakes in video games today, that you would be able to change the look and appearance of your character that we hadn't really seen present in NFTs yet, with all the gas fees and all the crypto friction therein pretty much removed, right? It's bringing these regular gaming pieces of functionality to gamers just with a Web3 backend that affords them ownership over the items they're actually purchasing in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely too much friction within the Web3 space right now. So that's some awesome things you guys are building. Let's talk about the team first. How big is the team?
Yeah, so we're about 12 people now as it stands today. We've got most of the team public facing, and then a few members who are behind the scenes. Most of us we're all mostly Seattle based, and so it is a lot of the big tech crowd making their transition into Web3 in this project. And we're actually hiring more here in the coming month or so. We're in the process of getting some backing to grow the team to the extent that we need to start undertaking this Hero Galaxy Phase 2 is what we're calling it internally, where we are making some moves that are not as of yet public in the context of, building out what we've already built and potentially exposing some of those pieces of tooling to the public.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Cool. And you guys already have a playable game. So do you want to talk about that? Because that's pretty exciting. Not many projects have a playable game right now. So what are you guys building so far?
Yeah, good question. So we have a few playable games inside of our ecosystem, the one that's built on Minecraft, and then we have to date one playable game in browser. I think that brings us to 8 total separate in the minigame variety. As far as what we're building in Minecraft, right, it follows our traditional ethos of build things as fast as we can and then clean them up later, right? So we've put out 7 game modes that we feel are most reminiscent with regular Minecraft players in the context of what they would be playing, sans crypto in a vacuum, right? We've got about 10 more of those on the way. We've been holding back some releases in that context, waiting for economic conditions to improve, so that we're not dumping out the token that we're built on needlessly before we're ready to go to market at regular gamers, let's say. But we're getting pretty close to that, and essentially what we built is every game mode that a regular Minecraft player would play, irrespective of crypto, to make sure that transition is totally seamless, right? And then as we progress, we're slotting these game modes that we've built into this overarching Hero Galaxy story, this role-playing game that we're building out, behind the scenes, that we're essentially, exposing public-facing pieces of that as we go. So that's been kind of our ethos as far as what we're building in Minecraft. And then in browser, same ethos, right? We're releasing alpha, beta versions of our games that look like mini games as we progress, right? So we have a browser game up right now called Rocket Game, where you can go and you can play and you can win artifacts, these hero wearables. And it's just a simple test of our payment rails and our ability to run an in-browser game. And as we progress, it'll start to look more like Miniclip, and then we'll tie it into a story, the same story that sits behind our Minecraft offering, and it'll start to look a lot more like Neopets or Hero Pets or Club Penguin, something like that, where it's lots of mini games and then an overarching story progression system kind of threading everything together.
So the game on Minecraft, I guess it's catered towards Minecraft players?
Yeah, I mean, our idea here, right, is that a lot of work needs to be done to meet regular gamers where they actually are before you can, let's say, show them the benefits of Web3. I think everybody's aware at this point that marketing games that are play to earn, that aren't super fun, where the primary attraction point of the game is that earning element, only gets you so far, and in a lot of cases ends up ultimately collapsing token economies upon which these games are built. And so our thought has been, hey, let's make earning a complete aside, just this happy little bonus that Minecraft players find out about once they get into the game ecosystem, right? And then as we progress, folks get more engaged playing the games they already love, and then they're discovering these crypto elements that benefit them in the context of earning, as opposed to being drawn to the games purely through earning, right? It's a big load for us to think about. When you're trying to structure a stable economy, how do you make sure that the player base in your game is engaged enough that they're wanting to push some of their earnings to their benefit back into the game in order to secure game power-ups, boosts, wearables, things like that. And so in that context, we've kind of slow rolled the release of a lot of our Minecraft games just to make sure we're releasing the ecosystem public at a time where it's going to give people a good impression, be sticky, not churn a lot of gamers out of it, and be ready to kind of on-ramp them smoothly deeper into the ecosystem.
Yeah. Earning should only be a nice bonus, because if they're only playing to earn, then once if the token does collapse, then no one's going to play the game anymore.
Right. And I think that's what we're seeing with a lot of play-to-earn games today, right? Like, speculative buying action sort of dries up in a market like this. Not entirely, right, but for the most part. And so we've seen that hit player counts across the board. And so our thought is, hey, we need to be building something that works standalone for a gamer, irrespective of what they're earning. And that way, just everything that has to do with Web3 that we're providing to folks is just a happy little bonus that, that they can go discover in the context of their, enjoyable gameplay that they were not aware was backed by something Web3, right? Because the reality is, NFTs are still a scary term to regular gamers. People think scam when they hear them in a lot of cases. I think you don't need to go further than a Twitch chat anywhere to find that out. And so our thought has been, hey, let's not call this NFT game. Let's not call this play to earn gaming in the context of what we're presenting to gamers. Let's just call this, the future of Minecraft servers, and let them discover that the skins and wearables and power-ups and boosts in the game are actually, things that they can physically own, right? And let it be a revelation that benefits them and not the selling point, so as to avoid, scaring them all away. Because the reality is, a lot of the stuff that's come out in the last 4 or 5 years and back fluffy evaluations has been not super fun for regular gamers. In a lot of cases, has ultimately hurt people financially. And so trying to avoid some of the mistakes we've seen so far, just in so many words.
Yeah. So you say that the game is built on Minecraft, so it's not NFT worlds, right? So this might be a stupid question.
Yeah, no. So that's a really good question. So we're originally, when we started this, we were building on the NFT Worlds platform, but the API that we were working with in that context simply just relative to the point in time that they were at, didn't do enough for us in the context of incorporating these wearables and these. The payment rails didn't make a lot of sense to us relative to us wanting to have claims of token on our site, and so we set about kind of rebuilding the rails in the back end a few months back. And at this point, we do still electively use the NFT Worlds token, but beyond that, all the tech in the back end we had to rebuild on our end, and so we're in that context outside of our elective use of the token standing alone.
Okay, cool. So I guess anyone that bought Minecraft can enter and play in your game?
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, and that's the idea, right, is, let's make an offering that's reminiscent and relevant to these regular Minecraft players, and then once we feel it's sticky enough, actually start marketing it to them to learn everything that we possibly can about what it takes to onboard regular gamers into a more Web3ified ecosystem, right? And also, it's like, for our purposes, it is access to almost unattainable market research about what does it take to onboard a regular gamer into a Web3 game that we're able to gather in the context of building these games in Minecraft. And the beauty of that is that the tooling that we're building is flexible and it's fungible across games, right? It works in an in-browser game, and it works in Unreal Engine, and it works in Minecraft, and it lets us, build things in a way where we can be confident relative to this, let's say, simple proof of concept that these things are scalable and architected for scale, so that as we progress and start, exposing some of these services as APIs to other folks, that we know that they're, built the best they possibly could be.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So is the game on Minecraft play to earn?
Yeah, so the game in Minecraft today is play to earn. Currently, right now, you hop into the game, you win a round, and let's say the simplest game we have out is Coliseum, just a 1v1 PvP battle. You win a round in the Coliseum, you have crypto deposited to your wallet instantly. And then as we progress back to this whole, how do you draw gamers deeper into the ecosystem, we'll be pivoting the payment method to more of a claim-based system, right? You play a game, you're accruing token over the course of a day. And then you pivot to the in-browser site and click claim in full view of these artifacts, these wearables that you could equip to your hero or your what we're calling internally and externally at this point a civilian pass, right? The free NFT for regular gamers. To boost their stats in game, boost their cosmetics, make things look a little cleaner. Yeah.
Cool. And will you be able to earn tokens?
Yeah. That's the plan in perpetuity, most certainly, right? It's rewarding gamers for their time and attention to the things that they love. Right? The idea is that, hey, the participants in a network in an ecosystem that create the benefit of the ecosystem as a whole deserve to be compensated in some small part for their participation, thus allowing it to exist, right?
Yeah. So are there like for example, is there going to be SLP, like an SLP equivalent for the game that you're building?
That's a really good question. So in this context, what do you mean by SLP? Would you mind elaborating?
A utility token.
Oh, good question. So we're working on something on the back end. I think that's not quite ready to be announced in the context of us moving down the road, securing backing. That is something that we haven't seen tried before. I think a more formal announcement is necessary to do this justice, and so we'll save it for today. But in that context, it is us looking to solve for the issue where super speculative buy side or sell side action created by investors is antithetical to a gamer's gameplay experience, right? Like our position is in looking at all the play to earn games that exist today that investors and gamers probably don't belong on the same token, because any investor action in the token creates issues for the gamers unless all the prices of everything in the game are dynamic relative to speculative action one way or the other. And it seems to me that most play to earn games that have released in the last 10 years have initially received funding through the traditional Web3 method, which is fantastic and has created decentralized entities, but has left these games sort of beholden to serving investor interest above gamer interest in the context of their token, which in our opinion kind of precludes adoption, right? And so we're working on something behind the scenes with a lot of very smart folks, and are going to try something new in that context that we'll be announcing more details about later.
Cool. Awesome. Let's talk about the armory. What are heroes and what are artifacts?
Good question. So a hero is our Genesis NFT collection, right? We started Hero Galaxy selling out 5,555 NFTs, and that was our Genesis collection. And the heroes are by far carrying the most utility in the Hero Galaxy ecosystem, right? The rewards for anybody who was bearing with us that early, let's say. And so in that context, heroes are kind of the primary avatar that folks are working with right now. Folks can jump in, it's free to play, and they can earn a little bit. But if they have a hero NFT, their rewards are boosted massively, right? And then artifacts are sort of, I think it's the first time I've seen anyone do this, if I'm not mistaken, but wearable NFTs that can be equipped to heroes to both update their IPFS references, the metadata that sits behind them to change their cosmetic appearance in an instant, and then boost the level of rewards that heroes are earning through staking. And then as we progress, these artifacts are going to be wearables that are relevant to regular gamers, right? If you're a regular gamer, you come into our website and you can get a civilian NFT, your first NFT ever, for just about free, and then you can start equipping these artifacts to that NFT to boost your in-game stats, boost your change your cosmetics, things like that. And the artifacts are important in that one of the models that we'd seen in the context of making a play-to-earn game workable in regards to serving its initial investors were these games that were gated to X number of token supply, right? Only people who own X are able to play, and if you play, you earn whatever token. And our thought was, well, we cannot possibly artificially limit the player base size of a game that we're intending to use to bring Web3 to Web2 gamers, right? And so what artifacts let us do is basically increase the value of heroes relative to the number of regular gamers we're able to onboard, right? So hero holders are getting these artifacts airdropped to them 4 times a month on a weekly basis. They're worth anywhere from 0.005 ETH, about $5 to $10 at current prices, all the way up to $1,000 plus. Our intention is to stabilize that collection between $5 and $15 to promote maximum gamer engagement with the artifacts themselves. So it doesn't exactly behave like a traditional NFT collection, but what it does is it means that because heroes get artifacts for free and gamers have to work to earn them, for every gamer we onboard and every incremental bit of interest we're able to gather in these artifacts, obviously hero holders getting them for free are able to profit more as a function of those free drops, right? And so it creates a system whereby for every incremental gamer we add, the artifacts become incrementally more valuable, and it allows us to make sure that our holders are profiting from the public-facing growth of this ecosystem, as opposed to just people's interest in a fixed supply, fixed player count game.
Oh, that's very well thought out.
Yeah, it's hundreds of hours of me staring at my wall thinking about crypto gaming before before embarking down this road. Like, we didn't want to do anything that we didn't feel like we were coming from the right place, doing things right relative to what we'd seen before starting this. And so, like I my whole life, more or less, have kind of, as long as I can remember, been in crypto for the last 10 years, right? It's a long time. And I hadn't wanted to become an entrepreneur in this space before this, simply because we felt we had an opportunity here to do things in a way where, we could do things differently, and potentially do something special.
Yeah. And I think you would be a good person to answer this question. I asked this to founders that builds NFT projects. How do you go about, building a project, an NFT project, which takes a very long time?
Yeah.
But in the space, everyone wants it done now. They want to be a millionaire now. So how do you juggle the short-term expectations while still building a long-term project?
I think that's a really good question. I was actually speaking about this a couple of weeks ago, that having NFT investors with vested interest in a project can kind of be antithetical to that project's long-term success, because it puts a lot of founders in this short-term decision-making mindset, operating from a place of how do we please the people who are here today in a way that keeps them engaged and keeps them interested, which ultimately in a lot of cases ends up detrimental to the long-term success of a project. And so like a few things on that front. I think one of the things that I've tried to do differently is I would, and this may be an egotistic statement, but I think I might be the founder with the most messages in their own personal Discord of any Web3 founder in existence today. I have by far the most messages in the server. And what that speaks to, I think, is open and honest and transparent communication about where we're at, right? Like, anybody has any questions about what we're doing, for the most part, unless I feel that it benefits the project to keep it behind the scenes, I'm giving transparent answers, right? And so even if we're not providing to folks exactly what they want in that moment, they at least get to hear from me directly that, hey, we're working on it, or this is on the roadmap for X number of dev cycles for now, or hey, your feedback has been noted, and I'm compiling this giant list of nice to have changes that we're going to make at the behest of this community, right? Like, corporations pay millions of dollars for customer feedback groups this good, and that is something that I've tried to keep at the forefront of my mind as we progress. Is, hey, everything anybody has to say about this, if they give a shit enough to be there, is valuable. And so I think number one, open and honest, transparent communication. But number two, one of the things we've tried hard to do is keep speed as our moat. Right, in 4 months we've delivered. I rattled off a list on Twitter yesterday. In 4 months, we've delivered 7 unique game modes in Minecraft, 1 in browser game, a balanced wearable NFT microeconomy in the form of artifacts, staking, equipping the artifacts, which is a marvel as far as I'm concerned that our engineers accomplished. Because when you explain it, from the back end, literally what's happening is you're equipping a Polygon NFT for almost 0 gas to an ETH NFT to update its appearance while it's staked in a different wallet. It's preposterous. 50,000 airdrops, 5-to-1 artifact swap mechanism, and we've moved past 10x our mint price. And so in that context, we've tried to make sure that our incremental delivery toward this platform that is contains all the bones that any great Web3 or Web2 game could build, play, to earn into it, has been given light as a milestone, so that folks know, hey, we're working 16 hours a day to deliver as fast as we can here. And we've got some real geniuses behind the scenes supporting us as far as our engineering team, second to none in this space as far as I'm concerned. And making sure that folks know that, as we progress, like we're sitting here working as fast as we can, right? And so I think in that context, we've created one of the most supportive and welcoming communities that really, in the cases where things should be coming out faster or things are not happening in exactly the way where it provides everybody the most short-term dopamine, we're given a lot of understanding simply because of the way that we've tried to operate so far. And, I think we're really lucky in that regard for the community that we've been able to build around this project. And so, and then the third thing is, in some cases, you just kind of have to not care, right? As a founder, you're having to make tough decisions for the health of the project, for the benefit of the project, to not ship things too early or kick things later simply because it's the right thing to do. And in those cases, you just have to ignore the noise and do the things that you are right. Like, I think probably my background, getting yelled at by CTOs of billion-dollar-plus companies for a living, provided me, for better or for worse, with a bit thicker of a skin than most people. And any folks complaining about delivery, which is not too frequent in the context of our project, it is like for better or for worse, you get yelled at by enough people in the context of a customer-facing Web 2 job, and any negative feedback in that context just rolls off your back. So, yeah, long-winded answer. I apologize.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny because I think people in the Web3 space are probably one of the most impatient people in the world. But then projects within Web3, they move the fastest in the entire world. And like, how can you possibly get any faster, especially when you're building, something like a game, which takes like what, 5 years, even longer to build a Web2 game. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, definitely. Yeah. And so I think it's like, it is just kind of like, as a Web3 founder, your job is to make good decisions no matter what people are saying that you believe are best for the project. And sometimes if you get hate for that, or you see people being impatient, it's just incumbent upon you to ignore the noise for the success of your project. It's easier said than done, for sure, right? Because like when you've got 15,000, 17,000 people asking for this or that or win this, it's like, fuck, we need to go faster. But in a lot of cases, going faster means ultimately, sacrificing the long term for the short term, and then it's something that's not great in any situation.
Yeah, it must be very stressful being a founder.
I would actually say not more stressful than the job that I was doing prior, right? Like in this job, I have a community that we've been delivering for 5 months, and sometimes people are impatient. And in my old job, I'm getting woken up at 7 a.m. by Robinhood's CTO to get very hard questions about why is AWS having an outage, and I'm coming from a dead sleep, having to explain what their recourse is in a situation that I have no idea what that's about. So it's like at least here I'm getting to work on something I love to work on, right? And I wouldn't say it's so much more stressful than what I was doing prior, relative to calls like that.
Yeah, I think if you want to be a founder within the Web3 space, you definitely need to have the right mindset. Definitely not for everyone. Let's talk about the anti-heroes. You guys have a mint coming up, so
so it's really exciting for us, honestly. So the way we're thinking about anti-heroes is a bit different, and we're approaching this mint model differently than anybody we've seen do a mint before, just because, and I laid this out on Twitter on my personal a while ago, and so for the folks who saw that, which probably not too many, this will be reiteration, but so we're minting on the 18th and 19th, and then we'll open up to a short public sale with whatever's left, right? And our thought on that is basically that none of the traditional minting models that we've seen over the last few months are great in general, or especially not in a market like this, right? A Dutch auction kind of extracts the maximum amount of capital possible from your community, leveraging FOMO. I don't think that creates a great minting experience, right? Traditional mint leaves out some people on the basis of whatever the whitelist conditions are, and whatever the mint price is. And in the context of a second collection isn't ideal, obviously, because you have a whole host of reasons, right? You're limiting the network effect of your project. You're forcing everybody to spend money again. You're not providing everybody with exactly what they need. And so the way we thought about it was, hey, let's try something new, right? We're calling it internally the Humble Bundle. I'm not sure that's exactly what we'll call it when we finally give it a name in the public-facing eye here in the next couple of days. But for all intents and purposes, it does work like the Humble Bundle model, where from a details perspective, 4,800 of the 6,666 available anti-heroes and mint passes for those anti-heroes were dropped on our holders for free to folks who were staked over the course of like a month. Once folks have a mint pass, what they're able to do is when they go to mint, they're able to mint for free with that mint pass if they want to, right? It was something we gave to people for free. We want to let them mint for free, an extra layer of value for holders. Right now at the average price point is something like 0.21 ETH across all the different types of passes there are out there. But if folks want to contribute more to the project in the context of the mint, right, they have a little box where they can enter a number if they have extra capital that they want to see me go hire more geniuses with, right? If they want to contribute, they can contribute upfront instead of minting for free with those mint passes and get access to this whole suite of rewards that we've created that go well above and beyond the anti-hero itself, right? Like wearables for the anti-heroes, wearables for the heroes. And at the very, very top end, we're letting folks, customize a one-of-one. And, we have the secret idea of, hey, at a certain price point, and we haven't decided yet, we want to put an Easter egg in there where if somebody wants to, donate to the project so I can go hire more people, at some extreme amount, we'll fly you out and you can come hang out with us. Not that that's such a reward or anything, because we're all just, crypto nerds staring at screens all day long. But for whatever that's worth, we wanted to make sure that to whatever extent folks could contribute, they were able to contribute to the success of the project. And then if folks need to mint for free simply because they don't have the capital to do it, that's awesome. Like I'm happy to have provided you, $250 plus in value here. And then for the back half, the remaining 1,600 spots, we've got, we did a traditional whitelist model where we'll fill it out and hope that, all the whitelisters mint such that that's the end of the supply, right? Obviously everybody's going to mint the 2 that they're allotted, but we're figuring some will, a lot will, and that price point is 0.13. And then whatever's left over, we'll expose to a short public sale. And then thereafter, if there's anything remaining, which at the current price point of the mint pass is something like 0.17 ETH on market. We're thinking probably not, since it's an arbitrage opportunity. But if there is anything remaining, then the project simply takes that as a reserve. The supply is all spoken for, and it makes sure that we're not in a non-mint out scenario in a totally shit market. And it makes sure that we provided a ton of value to our holders, let 80% of the people mint these things for free, and what the anti-heroes ultimately let us do is tell the Hero Galaxy story to its fullest extent, right? It provides a villain for our heroes and brings the collection size total up to close to a 10K, while providing those who got the anti-heroes a lower price point entry to the project relative to the 0.75 floor price of the current heroes, and gives them this what we're calling non-dilutionary utility, right? It's a non-dilutive utility that is pulled from places that the heroes would never have otherwise been rewarded in the context of what the project is doing. And so it makes sure that, relative to a PFP where all you've got is, X number of buyers' interest, and that's what your floor price is predicated on, a separate floor price that doesn't detract at all from the current heroes. Kind of a thought problem for us in the context of doing something like this is how do you make it not affect the floor price of the heroes? And so another long answer to a short question, and I thank you for bearing with me.
Someone asked a question based off your response. Will that contribution section always be available, or can I use my mint pass 3 months from now and contribute then?
Definitely, yeah. So we're leaving that open in perpetuity. The model we're following there is similar to the one you see in mutants and the serums, or Murakami and the flowers, right? Where we want to make sure that the mint passes are circulating on the market in perpetuity is what we're expecting, allowing folks to hold those if they want to forever, or mint 4 months from now. Say they have additional capital they want to contribute to get some of those bonuses, they'll be able to go and mint forever into the future, because our thought is if you push people really hard to use their mint passes, burn their mint passes, or whatever, you're just leaving people out, and so that was kind of our reasoning behind that.
Cool. So what is the utility behind the anti-heroes, and is it different from the Genesis heroes?
Yeah, it's wholly different and pulled from separate places, right? So the Genesis heroes are rewarded with 4 artifact drops a month. Those are free. Those are the wearables that we've been talking about, as well as their ability to pull from this giant player rewards pool that is funded by the project as we grow, right? And so the anti-heroes obviously have to pull from different places. And so the first piece of utility that the anti-heroes get, they get massively boosted in-game rewards relative to anyone with a civilian pass, second only to the heroes. And that's, the first most basic piece of utility we could offer, boosted in-game rewards. The second piece of utility the anti-heroes get is they're able to actually steal staking rewards from the heroes. So we stipulated right from the beginning that, hey, if you're unstaking your hero early, you're paying a 10% penalty. And we never stipulated where that 10% penalty went. In that context, we were setting the stage for the anti-heroes. So when heroes unstake early, that 10% penalty they pay is paid directly into the anti-heroes rewards pool, where only the anti-heroes are able to pull from it. And that's the next piece of non-dilutive utility, right? That was never something that the heroes would have otherwise gotten. And so it ensures that, the hero floor price is unaffected by the creation of the anti-heroes because the utility isn't diminished. And the third piece of utility that we brought to the anti-heroes is a little bit layered, and it requires kind of a deeper dive nerd explanation that I'll try to keep to 15 seconds. We have this mechanic called the Forge that is at its core a deflationary mechanism to keep the artifact economy in check, right? People are able to burn 5 artifacts to get an artifact at 1 rarity tier higher than they currently have. We're releasing something called the Ultra Forge here in the next month that allows people to burn more than 5 artifacts and basically set a risk tolerance on those artifacts that they're burning to say, hey, I want to risk these artifacts in exchange for a slightly boosted chance at getting a higher level of reward. And if they're introducing on an opt-in basis that element of risk in their forging, if they do, get unlucky and burn those artifacts up, the artifact that would have been produced by the artifacts that get burned in the Ultra Forge goes straight to the anti-heroes, right? The anti-heroes are stealing it, and it's airdropped randomly to the anti-heroes on the basis of their individual levels. The last piece of utility that we provided to the anti-heroes, a couple more. There's a leveling system that allows them to level up to earn more rewards and more artifacts on the basis of their level, and they're able to gain levels by burning artifacts, the hero wearables, another deflationary mechanism. And the last piece is they're all getting 1 artifact NFT drop per month. And so it's this whole suite of utility, game access renting, notwithstanding that would never have otherwise been granted to the heroes, that they're able to pull from simply straight from the project itself. That allows us to kind of create this, villainous interplay between the heroes that'll be built upon both our story and our lore, and then in the context of some of the access gated and browser games that we're releasing.
Oh, my mic is muted again. Sorry, yeah. So you can stake your heroes and your anti-heroes. So what are the staking rewards?
This is a good question. So the staking rewards pool for the heroes is funded by in-game transaction activity, right? We're operating with what is essentially a video game token for all intents and purposes at this point, and we'll continue to do so going forward through the changes that I mentioned. And so basically, as players transact and spend in the game, as players are, minting artifacts and getting consumables at a regular gamer scale, the overwhelming majority of those purchases are funneled into the hero player rewards pool, half of which are then distributed back in the form of play-to-earn gaming rewards, and the other half are hero staking rewards. And so if you're a hero holder today, obviously relative to the inflationary collapse of the token that we were initially leveraging, World Token, you're getting a substantial amount of World Token that is worth a lot less than it was worth a month or 2 ago. As we progress, we'll be supplementing that pool with some of the changes that we've talked about, simply to bring maximum value to our holders. And that's how the staking rewards pool is derived. And then obviously the anti-heroes rewards pool is derived from those who unstake early, right? All those rewards, that 10%, gets contributed toward the anti-heroes rewards pool, and make sure that they're, let's bring in a Web2 VC term, well capitalized in and of themselves.
Cool. Let's talk about rentals. What are the NFTs that you can rent, and what are the benefits of renting?
Really good question. So we see rentals becoming a lot more important in the future. It's not a feature we've actually currently released simply because we don't feel that there's enough regular gamer demand at this point relative to the zero marketing we've done to warrant having a rental system in place. But that is next on the chopping block as far as giant audacious feature releases to come out in advance of our more public heavy marketing spend, Twitch rivals, influencer partnerships type of go-to-market strategy. And so renting, what it'll let you do is, as a hero holder, you can place your hero up for rent while it's staked, additional income source to your hero. Obviously, your rental becomes more attractive as you have more artifact gear on your hero, such that players are earning more when they play with it. And you as a holder are able to set the price at which you want to rent, the term that you want to rent for, and the amount of rewards that you want to claim from your renter. And so it's up to you in a market to decide what is going to make your rental the most attractive. We wanted to provide that level of flexibility to our hero holders. And then from a rentee's perspective, those are the folks that we're onboarding with these civilian passes that are close to free and free for the first 15,000. What renting lets you do is you get a massively stepped up level of in-game rewards. You're able to earn a lot more, and then you're able to get access to some of these tournaments that we're holding only for hero holders as we progress. And so that's the utility of renting as we see it, right? It's a way to provide additional value to holders and provide gamers a stepped up level of value.
Yeah, definitely. And are you guys looking into expanding in the metaverse, like the Sandbox or Decentraland?
So we are looking at expanding, but I don't think in the traditional sense, right? Our duty to our investors, given that they're rewarded on the basis of the amount of regular gamers that we're able to onboard, is to go bring Web3 games to the places where the most gamers are, right? That's part of the reason we started this proof of concept with Minecraft. Is there's a giant pool of players already there playing. And so as we progress, what we're looking to do is build out Hero Galaxy in browser, like I mentioned, right? Super accessible, very easy to join and get in and play. And then build out Hero Galaxy on mobile. I think that's our next step. And we do have some plans to be holding events in other metaverses and partnering with folks like yourself. But our plans for building are limited to things that we're able to create in-house at this point, just because we feel like what we've been able to do as far as tooling allows folks to onboard a lot more easily into the environments that we create with the tools that we built. And then in the context of expansion, one of the things that we're looking to do is make a lot of these pieces of tooling public facing, right? Like, I think, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me that metaverse tooling wouldn't be on a consumption-based model. And so that is what we'll be providing to people as we progress, somewhat to the benefit of our holders.
Cool. And for my last few questions, what can people expect from Hero Galaxy within this year?
Oh my goodness!
Alexander, I'll let you take that one. I might fill in some color, but I have a habit of spilling out way too much information, and so I just probably need to shut up in the context of this question.
Yeah. So the next year is going to be pretty crazy in terms of what we've got getting ready to get released. I know Nick has touched a lot on kind of some of the things that are in motion now. One thing I'll just touch on briefly, because I think it kind of helps summate at least a lot of the user experience, is Nick had mentioned how we're kind of building out lore and world building. And we see that as a huge development over the coming 6 to 12 months. Honestly, a lot sooner than that, but it's going to be continuously built out over this next year of what is the Hero Galaxy in kind of in spirit and in story. So we're tying together, I know Nick had also mentioned art overhaul, so we're kind of bringing our artwork into a place where it can be in a little bit more synergistic manner with what we're offering in our gameplay, and then also the story that we're just overall trying to tell. What is Hero Galaxy? What is the point of having all these characters? What are these protagonists, antagonists? And building out that story over these next couple months is going to be important for us to kind of guide us through the next game releases, guide us through our tech releases on the Hero Galaxy side of things. But the next year is also going to see tons of tech developments. That's kind of what Nick is inching towards in terms of not wanting to get too much color. But as he just mentioned, we're looking to kind of take a lot of this infrastructure and this IP architecture that we've been building out and turn that public facing, so we can give people the tools to create what they've been thinking about, what they've been desiring, what they've been dreaming about building in a Web3 environment, uh, since most of these folks have kind of laid eyes on what's possible here. We'll also be kind of in the next, I'd say, I know you asked for 12 months, but in the next coming short period of time, I don't want to put a timeline quite on it, is when we're going to go be attacking some of that 140 million Minecraft player base and really growing what we have inside of the Hero Galaxy right now. So next 12 months are going to be full of new tech developments here. We'll be bringing on a Hero Galaxy marketplace on our site. Inside of our armory, we'll be increasing quality of life across the board of what we have to offer. As Nick mentioned earlier, a lot of what we do is bringing functionality first. There's a lot of, not to point any fingers, of course, but there's a lot of slow builders in the space. And when you combine that with, I think you mentioned impatient consumers and impatient members here, you can kind of get a lot of tension. So we're really working to just keep cranking out some of these developments. And then over this next year, we'll be working on building out what is the Hero Galaxy, building out all these incredible side projects, new aspects of the Galaxy. Of course, we'll be coming out with new game modes consistently. We're going to be increasing dramatically the size of the Hero Arcade and tying that all together with our art, with our gaming, and with our tech offerings that are going to be built out and kind of pushed out towards the public. So we have a ton that's going to be coming in the next year. And as we keep kind of fundraising and as we keep growing on the inside, and our internal team will just be shipping faster and faster and faster. And we're really excited. I think we've got an exciting month ahead of us, an exciting 2 months ahead of us, 3 months ahead of us. And frankly, we just have so much on the docket that we'll be cooking here for the next months and months and months on end. And it'll be pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, exciting times indeed. And before I end the stream, is there anything else that you guys would like to mention?
Good question. I think this is usually the time we drop a little bit of alpha. Alexander, what do you think we can say? Yeah. We try to say what we can. Reward folks who stuck with us through the, half an hour of me rambling.
Well, first and foremost, if there's anybody in here listening who does not have a whitelist for the Anti-Heroes Midspot, you have made it nearly an hour, and you can go hop into our Discord and kindly ask for a whitelist, and that shall be granted. In terms of alpha dropping, let's see here. Let's see what fun stuff that we can give out.
Well, I think public go-to-market is probably ending up happening a little bit sooner than people were expecting, right? Like we've kind of kept things close to the vest as far as our ecosystem build out, right? Like one of the issues that we've been facing is that in relative to the token we initially opted to use and relative to the player base therein, the environment was massively inflationary, and so we felt it didn't make sense to be drip releasing games into an environment like that would ultimately cause the token to dump out more, right? Like, I don't know that too many people are paying attention to those kind of economics, but it's something at the forefront of my mind at all times. And so we've held things back, right? Like we made sure that the things that we expect to attract a lot of players aren't being released until they're all ready all at once. And we're ready to start blasting this from the hilltops to the regular gamers that we consider to be our target market. And I think we're getting pretty close. Wouldn't you say? I mean, we've been having conversations behind the scenes, securing partnerships with agencies, influencers, big names from the space, and we'll be kicking things off here in probably a little under a month. Maybe don't hold us to that, but with a massive live stream tournament featuring some people that are in the context of Minecraft, like worldwide famous to regular gamers. And so that's one of the things we're pretty excited about that I don't think that we'd shared is kind of like this, more traditional gaming go-to-market push to load people into this ecosystem who don't know or quite frankly, give a fuck about NFTs.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Exciting times. I'll be looking forward to seeing your project unfold in 2022. I'm sure it's going to be epic. So thank you for coming on, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us. This has been a really good one, and I appreciate the quality of questions that you've been asking, and I'm looking forward to what we're able to do together next.
Thank you.
Fantastic interview. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you to all the viewers for tuning in. I hope you all enjoyed that too. Peace out.
See you.